Megan Hicks of I Run Far. I'm with Zach Biller. It's a couple days before the 2025 Hardrock 100 Endurance Run. Here we finally are, Zach. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Megan?
Good. This event is a long time coming for you now.
Yeah, I guess so. Like 2 years, a year delayed, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So take us back to, it's the Monday before Friday start now. Take us back to a year ago, Monday last year. Where were you and what were you doing on this very moment?
On Monday, I don't think I was in the hospital. I think I was out of the hospital, but I was probably either at like Maggie Guttrell's house down in Durango, recovering from being in the hospital, or I was up here recovering. I can't remember, but I think I went into the hospital on Friday, got out on Saturday, and then spent a night or two in Durango and then came back up here.
And for anybody who lives under the Hardrock and doesn't know the story from last year, you came down with appendicitis a week before Hardrock, went to the hospital in Durango, had it removed, had to scratch from last year's race.
Yeah. I mean, came down with appendicitis. I felt like I maybe had it for like years.
Oh, okay.
Because I had these weird episodes for years that I couldn't figure out what they were, and they always like went away. And I had a really bad one that summer, but it went away, and I went back to training, and then the one week before Hardrock, day after, I think July 5th, went to bed July 4th, and like that night I started getting pain and woke up the next morning. It was so bad we finally went to the hospital, which it was very bad.
It was not a good Independence Day for you.
Yeah, well, the Independence Day was fine. We ate some donuts, watched some fireworks, but the day after was, pretty miserable. So, yeah, ended up in the ER and then in the operating room and got rid of the appendix and missed Hardrock. But that's, you get what you get. That's what happened.
So yeah, a year and 7 months after the first lottery where you were first chosen, you'll get to start the 2025 Hardrock 100. How does that feel? How does that sound?
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, actually and not to say it in like a boastful way or anything, but this is actually my third time trying to run Hardrock.
That's right.
I actually got in.
Thank you for the reminder.
I think the first time I ran UTMB was 2015. That gave me a Hardrock ticket. I sort of stupidly put it in to the lottery, thinking I'll just start my process. I didn't really fully understand Dale's picks and all that, and I got picked, and I really wanted to go back to UTMB that year, but then I was thinking about it and realized, well, I don't know, because then they wouldn't tell you who were Dale's picks and who wasn't. So I was in a predicament because I realized, well, I could just be the luckiest guy in the world to get in on the first try on one ticket, or I could be a Dale's pick. If I say no and I was a Dale's pick, I might never get in again, was my thought.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually decided to run, then got a back injury in the spring, wasn't really ready for Hardrock, so told Dale and gave up my spot. And then never put in again until I was sure that if it got picked, I was going to do it. So that was last year, and I got in, and then the appendix. So now we're a year delayed.
Wow. So you could be about the luckiest person on the start line of this year's Hardrock 100.
Yeah, I guess I'm very fortunate, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm glad to be here again this year.
So I'd say just about everybody on the internet is talking about the race between the Frenchman and the American that will be Hardrock this year. How are you thinking about the men's race?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's another race. I think Hardrock it's a race against your competitors. It's also a race against the course, and it's a race against yourself. So I think every race is a race against the course, but in some ways it feels like Hardrock is a little more so that way. Just all that it entails and all the challenging factors. There's really it's the course that takes you down. So yeah, I mean, I think, I've thought about that dynamic, it's me, two Frenchmen and a French Canadian. So it does sort of seem like, you know, maybe I have a little bit of Captain America shield on my on my forearm. Not like that I need to, but it sort of seems a little bit like that. But you know, those guys are all guys I know, and you know, I was running with Jama the other day, and you know, there's friends in that group. So you know, it's, I don't know, just another race, but I guess that is sort of an interesting little storyline. But I'm hoping to go out there and, you know, try to have the best day that I can have.
Let's talk a little bit about your training and lead up to, yeah, what you say is largely a race against this course. I think your volume, you've been healthy and your volume's been quite high. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I've kind of like been moving into healthy. Like I actually had, after I didn't get to run last year, I had kind of had a cranky knee all summer, and it was holding up for the training, but I didn't know what the problem was. So I didn't really worry about it like too much because I didn't really know what was wrong. And it was allowing me to do the training. So I was just kind of like, well, that's uncomfortable, but like I can kind of deal with that. And then actually after the surgery, my knee got really bad. I thought I was going to go do Nolan's or do Leadville or, you know, do something. And I actually ended up, I didn't race anything until I pushed my nephew's Ansel and Talus in a turkey trot on Thanksgiving. That was the first race I did after not getting to do Hardrock. And that was because of my knee. My knee was just a mess. I ended up on the bike for a while. I saw some doctors. I got some answers, which were not really good answers. I found out my knee was pretty messed up. I ended up getting a surgery at Stedman Clinic in December. Not a major surgery, but I had a clean out of my knee. My right knee is just really has a lot of damage in it. So Dr. Hackett went in and cleaned it out for me, took out a bunch of scar tissue, did what he could to help me. And when I was coming back from that this winter and spring, there were some pretty bad days. I mean, you could ask my girlfriend Jess about it. She kind of had a front row seat. There were nights where I would go out and run like 8-10 miles and I'd come back to the bus and I'd just be like, I would just like sit down on the bus steps and put my head in my hands and be like, I don't know if I can really do this anymore. Like in terms of like I could run, but I didn't know if I could continue running at the competitive level that I wanted to. So that was pretty tough. But with time, it improved and improved and improved and improved. And finally, by the summer, like kind of spring, summer, I started to hit a good groove. Skiing, biking, running. I was training a bit differently. And then summer, I was finally able to go like full bore running. And that was great. And yeah, like, as you said, like training did go well. I probably looked quite healthy. I still had some feelings. I still have some feelings in my knees. But I would say it's now in a better spot than it actually was last year. From what I can tell, you know? So yeah, that was kind of a long journey, but yeah, training went well. I did the prep work in Bend, kind of semi-altitude with a lot of skiing up to like 7,000 feet, like basically 9,000 feet as much as I could, but it depends when they open the summit of Mount Bachelor for the uphill route. So yeah, I did the base work there in Bend, and then I came out to Colorado and I started hitting the vert. Settled into around like, kept it at about 120 to 125 mile weeks with like
a lot of vert.
Yeah, with like 40 to 43,000 feet of climbing. Came out here and previewed the course, ended up putting in like 141 mile week my last week. Wasn't really like the plan, but was just kind of where I ended up that week. And so yeah, I think I put in like 4 to 5 weeks at like right around 40,000 feet of vert, or 40 to 43-ish thousand feet of vert, and like 120 to 140 miles. But most were in the 120s, though. It was just that last week that spiked a little.
Got it. So last question for you. What do you think your own best day looks like here on Friday and Saturday? Whether it's feelings or paper, what the numbers look like on paper, what's your own best day?
Yeah, I mean, I think my own best day is to feel smooth and controlled, like all day long. Keep the nutrition steady, the hydration good, because those are really key for me. I have to keep the calories coming in and the electrolytes and fluids coming in. If I do that, I can usually stay pretty steady. But again, I don't do a 100-mile training run in a race. So, I know I can stay pretty steady over, some longer, maybe 30, 40-mile runs, but like, it's always still a bit of a mystery there at the end. So yeah, I think a good day just looks smooth, controlled. I'm not reaching out of my means. Yeah. Like I'm going into that dark place, but I can do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what it looks like for me, and hopefully that puts me in a good spot relative to competition and relative to historical course times, but really just looking for that smooth, steady day.
Love that. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
In your official first Hardrock attempt.
Official.
Finally.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful for that.
Good luck, Zach.
Thank you.